Joining us right now, it's his take on the tech sector is Geoff Lewis. He's the founder and managing partner at Bedrock Capital, which is invested in the likes of OpenAI, Lyft, Nubank, and Plaid. Geoff, good morning to you. I think there's a lot of folks out there this morning who've been holding on to some of those names that I just mentioned, hoping, praying, and wondering, A, are they coming back? And some others saying, should I even be dipping in again, maybe putting some money, into those stocks, given where the valuations are? Where do you land?
Well, I land on, hoping is definitely not a strategy. Praying might be, but I would say that that of those three names you listed, Andrew, I'd say those are Meta, Amazon. There's a sense in which those are sort of mega platforms of the past, and the question that investors really need to be asking themselves today are, what are the mega platforms of the future? And there is this reality that most of Meta's revenue is advertising. Most of Google's revenue is advertising. Most of Amazon's revenue, I think over 50%, is still marketplace, despite their awesome efforts with AWS. And I do think the advertising business models on the internet are going to get disrupted, and you really need to be looking for what's the next mega platform. And I don't think it's the same ones. So
it's not funny, but I was going to say, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, people wrote off Microsoft. There was a view that Microsoft was a platform of the past. That would have been a bad bet. Is there any prospect in your mind that either of those three companies has a different kind of future than the one you just articulated?
Well, I think Microsoft is the best bet of the mega cap tech companies today. So it is, it was written off decades ago. I think it is massively undervalued today. So of all of these mature mega cap tech companies, Microsoft is the one that actually is most exposed to the cutting edge of technological innovation, quite honestly, through their partnership with OpenAI, which was recently announced, where we are proud to be investors here at Bedrock and OpenAI. They do have exposure to AGI over the long term. They're going to be able to integrate OpenAI's GPT products into things like Azure, which, even for Microsoft, Azure is only 30% or so of Microsoft's revenue. Like, they have a very nice diversified revenue base.
Hey, Geoff, we don't have that much time, but let me just ask you this, because you are an investor in OpenAI, obviously creating ChatGPT. There is a question among people in tech land right now, which is how unique is that product long term? Could it be replicated by others? How much does it cost to replicate? You hear people say in the business, if you spent maybe $200 million of compute power and some engineers, could you train something that does something similar to it? What do you make of that? Is that possible?
Well, many of these things can somehow be replicated. The Facebook social network was very easy to replicate. Lots of folks tried. I would argue that OpenAI has a very multi-layered mode, and in practice, they have a tremendous lead and advantage. And the Microsoft partnership is going to really allow that to compound over the many years to come.